Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning to Puan Salina and good morning to Encik Farid. Thank you for both of you for attending today's online Sulh session. My name is Asma Nabila. I'm the Sulh officer who will facilitate today's session. Before we begin, I would like to confirm that both parties can hear me clearly and that the audio and video connection are working properly. Can you hear me clearly, Puan Salina?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Okay, how about you, Encik Farid? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Alright, good. Thank you. First of all, I would like to welcome both of you and thank you for attending today's Sulh session. I understand that this matter may involve personal feelings and difficulties after the dissolution of your marriage. However, your willingness to attend this session shows that both parties are open to finding a peacefully solution. Before we begin, I would like to briefly explain the purpose of today's Sulh session. Sulh is a process practiced in the Sharia court that allows both parties to communicate, discuss their concerns and try to reach settlement through mutual agreement. Unlike a court proceeding, Sulh is not about deciding who is right and who is wrong. Instead, the focus is to find a fair and practical solution that can be accepted by both parties. If both parties reach an agreement, the terms may be recorded before the court and become legally binding. However, if no agreement is reached, both parties still have the right to continue with the normal court process. Now, I would like to explain my role as the Sulh officer. I am neutral and impartial. I do not represent either party and I will not decide who is right and who is wrong. My role is to guide the discussion, ensure both parties have the opportunity to speak and help both parties explore possible solutions. Any agreement reached must be voluntary lah. Do both parties understand my role as the Sulh officer? How about you, Puan Salina?
Yes, I understand.
And how about you, Encik Farid?
Yes, I understand.
Okay, thank you. Another important principle of Sulh is voluntary participation. Although both parties are attending to this session, neither party is forced to accept any settlement. Both parties are free to express their opinions, concerns and suggestions. The next principle is really confidentiality. Everything discussed during this process will remain confidential. This allows both parties to communicate honestly and openly. Okay, before we proceed, I would like to set some ground rules. Both parties will have equal opportunity to speak, listen without interrupting, and communicate respectfully throughout this session. Since this is an online session, I kindly request both parties to avoid unnecessary interruptions and stay focused during the discussion. If the discussion becomes too emotional, we may take a short break and proceed with a private meeting known as a caucus. May I confirm whether both parties agree to follow these ground rules? Puan Salina, do you agree?
Yes, I agree to follow the ground rules.
Thank you. And how about you, Encik Farid? Do you agree?
Yes, I also agree.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for both of your cooperation. Before we discuss the details of the claim, I would like to understand each party's expectation for today's session. Are you okay, Encik Farid? I will start with Puan Salina.
I'm okay.
Okay, Puan Salina, what do you hope to achieve from today's Sulh session?
Okay, thank you. I hope that we can resolve this matter peacefully. I also hope that I would like both parties to reach a fair agreement regarding the division of the matrimonial property, especially the house and joint savings that were accumulated during our marriage. That's all.
Alright, I understand. Thank you, Puan Salina. I really appreciate your willingness to share your expectation. How about you, Encik Farid? What do you hope to achieve from today's session?
I also hope that we can settle this matter peacefully. I would prefer for us to reach a fair agreement rather than continue with a lengthy court process.
Alright, thank you Encik Farid. I am pleased to hear that both parties are willing to discuss this matter in peacefully manner. This is a positive starting point for today's solo session. Throughout this session, I encourage both parties to listen carefully, communicate honestly, and remain respectful towards each other. Although there may be different opinion, our objective is to explore solutions that are acceptable and beneficial to both parties. With that, we have completed the opening stage of today's solo session. We will now proceed to the next stage where both parties will have the opportunity to present their respective statement and explain their position regarding this claim. Thank you.
Okay, now that we have completed the introduction and both parties understand the purpose of today's solo session, we will proceed to the next stage, which is the parties' opening statement. This is the opportunity for both parties to explain their perspective, concerns, and what they hope to achieve from today's session. I kindly ask both parties to speak honestly and respectfully. Please allow each other to finish speaking before responding. Puan Salina, as the claimant, you may begin.
Alright, thank you. I would like to explain why I am making this claim. After 15 years of marriage, I believe that I have contributed a lot toward our family and the asset that we built together. Regarding the house in Shah Alam, I understand that the house is registered under Encik Farid name. However, the house was purchased during our marriage and I contributed toward the housing loan for around 12 years maybe. At the same time, I was working as a teacher, managing household expenses and taking care of our 3 children. I believe my contribution should not only be measured by the amount of money I paid. I also spent many years managing the family and supporting Encik Farid throughout our marriage. Therefore, I believe that claiming 50% of the house and a fair share of the joint ASB savings is really reasonable. I'm not here to take more than what I deserve. I only want my contribution to be recognized. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Puan Salina. From your explanation, I understand that your main concern is not only about financial contribution, but also the effort and responsibility you carry throughout the marriage. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is really correct. Sometimes I think people only look at who paid more money, but they forget that who is sacrificed and responsibilities at our home.
Okay, thank you, Puan Salina. Encik Farid, I would now like to hear your perspective. Please explain your position regarding this claim.
Okay, thank you. First, I acknowledge that Puan Salina contributed during our marriage. I appreciate her efforts in taking care of the family and our children. However, I disagree with her request for 15% of the house. The reality is that I paid most of the housing loan installment and maintenance expenses for the property. I also carry most of the financial responsibilities throughout the marriage. Therefore, I believe it will not be fair if the house is divided equally without considering the different contributions made by both parties. In my opinion, Puan Salina's share should not exceed 13%.
But Encik Farid, you cannot look at this only from the financial sides. The reason you were able to focus on your work was because of me. I was also managing the households and taking care of our 3 children.
I understand that, but I also made sacrifice. Every month, I had to make sure the housing loan was paid and the family expenses was covered.
Sorry, Encik Farid, I'm not denying that. But after 15 years, it feels like my contribution is being reduced just because I did not pay as much as you did.
And I feel that my contribution is also being ignored when you request half of the house.
I'm only asking for what I believe is fair. I was there throughout our marriage. They contributed to the loan, raised our children, and supported our family.
I never said you did not contribute, but 15% is not reasonable from my perspective.
Puan Salina, Encik Farid, please allow me to interrupt for a moment. I understand that both of you have strong feelings regarding this matter. However, I would like to remind both parties that this purpose of this session is not to prove who contribute more or who sacrifice more. Both of you have made different types of contributions through the marriage, and my role is to help both parties explore a fair solution. Encik Farid, if I may summarize your position, you acknowledge Puan Salina's contribution, but you believe that the division should reflect your larger financial contribution towards the house. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, Puan Salina, your position is that your financial and non-financial contribution should be recognized, and therefore, you believe a 50% share fair. Is that correct?
Yes, correctly.
Okay, thank you. For today's discussion, I can see that both parties understand each other's concern. Okay, however, both parties still have different expectations regarding the division of the house. Puan Salina is requesting 50%, while Encik Farid is only willing to consider up to 30%. Since both parties are still unable to reach an agreement at this stage, we will proceed to the next stage of the Sulh process, which is the caucus, to further explore possible solutions. Thank you.
Puan Salina and Encik Farid, thank you both for sharing your concern honestly. From today's discussion, I understand that this dispute involves not only financial matters, but also feeling about the contribution and responsibilities throughout your 15 years of marriage. Since both parties still have different views regarding the division of the matrimonial property, I would like to proceed with a caucus. A caucus is a private meeting where I will speak with each party separately. This allows both parties to express their concerns more openly without interruption. I would like to remind both parties that everything discussed during the caucus will remain confidential. I will only share information with the other party if you give permissions. The purpose of this session is to understand your concern and explore possible areas for compromise. Encik Farid, would you mind waiting outside for a few minutes while I speak privately with Puan Salina?
Of course, I will wait outside.
Okay, thank you, Encik Farid. Okay, Puan Salina, are you ready for this session?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, I appreciate your passion. Okay, before we continue, I would like to remind you once again that this conversation is confidential. Please feel free to speak openly. Can you tell me what concern you the most regarding this claim?
Honestly, I feel that my contribution during the marriage is not being fully recognized. I really understand that Encik Farid paid a longer portion of the housing loan. However, for 15 years, I also contributed financially, managed household matters, and took care of our children while he continuing to work. I feel that my effort should also be considered when dividing the property.
I understand. So, from what you are saying, the issue is not only about the percentage of the house, but also about having your contribution as a wife, mother, and financial contributor recognized. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. I am not trying to deny his contribution. I only want a fair division that reflects everything I have contributed throughout our marriage.
Thank you for sharing that. May I ask you something? If Encik Farid acknowledge your contribution and is willing to consider a reasonable increase from his current offer, will you be open to discussing a compromise?
Yes, I'm really open to discussion. I do not want this method to continue for a long time, especially because we have a children. I hope we can resolve this peacefully lah.
Hmm. Earlier, you request 15% of the house. May I ask, what does this amount represent for you?
For me, 50% represent fairness. The house was purchased during our marriage, and I was part of building that family. I want my contribution to be valued.
I understand. However, if both parties are unable to reach an agreement today and the matter continues through court proceeding, there may be additional time, cost, and emotional stress involved. Will you still prefer to proceed with a longer process?
Honestly, I would prefer to settle this matter through Sulu. I just want a fair outcome, but I also want to avoid a long dispute.
What will be the most important outcome for you today?
I want Encik Farid to acknowledge my contribution and agree to fair division of the property.
Thank you, Puan Salina. Will you allow me to inform Encik Farid that your main priority is not only the percentage request, but also recognition of your contribution and reaching a fair settlement?
Yes, you may tell him that lah.
Thank you, Puan Salina. I appreciate your honesty. Please wait outside while I invite Encik Farid back for his private session. Encik Farid, thank you for your waiting. Are you ready for this caucus session?
Yes.
Just as I explained earlier, this conversation is also confidential. Nothing you share with me will be disclosed unless you give me permission. Please tell me how you feel after the joint discussion.
Okay. I understand why Puan Salina feels that way, and I appreciate her contributions to our family. However, I also hope that my financial contribution towards the house will be considered, as I paid most of the housing loan and maintenance costs. Therefore, I believe the division should reflect the contribution of both parties.
So your concern is not denying Puan Salina's contribution, but ensure that your financial contribution towards the property is also recognized. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. I know she contribute, but I also work hard to provide for the family.
Thank you. Earlier, you suggested that Puan Salina's share should not exceed 30%. May I ask whether you will be willing to reconsider your position if it helps both parties reach a settlement?
I'm willing to discuss. I do not want this matter to become a long dispute. I just want the division to be fair.
If this matter proceed to court, are you prepared for the additional legal cost, time, and emotional pressure that may follow?
Honestly, I would prefer to settle this peacefully. Peacefully, I believe it is better for both of us, especially for our children.
May I ask, what kind of arrangement will you consider reasonable?
I'm willing to increase my offer if Puan Salina also considers my financial contribution. I'm open to finding a middle ground.
Thank you, Encik Farid. Will you allow me to inform Puan Selena that you are willing to negotiate and consider a compromise regarding the division of the property?
Yes, you may tell her that.
Thank you, Encik Farid. I appreciate your cooperation. From speaking privately with both of you, I can see that although there are differences, both parties share the same intention to resolve this matter peacefully. With your permission, I would now like to invite both parties back into the room for joint negotiation to explore possible solution together. Okay, thank you, Encik Farid. Thank you, Encik Farid and Puan Salina, for your passion and cooperation during the caucus. I appreciate the openness shown by both parties. Without revealing any confidential information, I believe there may be room for compromise. We will now proceed to the joint negotiation stage to explore a solution that is acceptable to both parties. Before that, thank you both for your patience and cooperation throughout today's solo session. Okay, now we continue to the joint negotiation. I appreciate the respectful attitude shown by both parties during the caucus. Your willingness to communicate shows that both of you are open to finding a peaceful solution. Before we continue, I would like to remind both parties that Sulh is not about deciding who is right or wrong, but about reaching a solution that both parties voluntarily agree upon. With that, let us continue our discussion. Okay, Puan Salina, without revealing anything discussed privately during the caucus, may I ask whether your main concern is still to have your contribution throughout the marriage recognized?
Yes, although I initially requested for 50% of the house, what matters most to me is that my contribution as a wife, mother, and a financial contributor is acknowledged. I want a fair division that reflects the effort I have made throughout our marriage.
Thank you, Puan Salina. Encik Farid, would you like to respond?
Okay, yes, I understand why Puan Salina feels that way. I acknowledge that she contributes to the family, including managing the household and taking care of our children. However, I also hope that my financial contribution towards the house, including the housing loan and maintenance costs, will be considered also.
Thank you, Encik Farid. It appears that both parties recognize each other's contribution, but the main disagreement is regarding the appropriate division of the property. Will both parties be willing to consider a middle ground that recognizes both financial and non-financial contribution?
Yes, I am willing to consider a reasonable arrangement if my contribution is properly recognized.
Yes, I'm also willing to negotiate. I do not want this matter to continue for a long time, especially because we still need to maintain a good relationship as parents to our children.
Okay, thank you. Considering both party position, if this matter proceed to court instead of being settled today, there may be additional time, cost, and emotional stress involved. Do both parties agree that reaching a settlement today may be a better option?
Yes, I believe settlement is better for both of us.
Yes, I also agree.
Okay, thank you. Regarding the house in Shah Alam, Puan Salina initially request 15%, while Encik Farid suggested 30%. Would both parties be willing to consider a compromise between these two positions?
After considering Puan Salina's contribution through the marriage, I'm willing to increase my offer. I believe 60% for me and 40% for Puan Salina would be a fair arrangement.
Puan Salina, how do you feel about this proposal?
Um, Although it is not the 50% that as I requested, I appreciate that Encik Farid acknowledged my contribution. I am willing to accept 40% of the house value as a fair settlement.
Excellent. It appears that both parties have reached a mutual understanding regarding the division of the house. Now, regarding the joint ESP savings account amounting to 40,000 ringgit, would both parties agree to divide it equally?
Yes, I agree that the ASB savings were accumulated during the marriage and should be divided equally.
Yes, I'm also agree with that set arrangement.
Okay, thank you. The final issue is the Produa Arus. Since the vehicle is registered under Puan Salina name and she paid the down payment, will both parties agree that the vehicle remains under her ownership?
Yes, I agree.
Okay.
Thank you. I agree with that arrangement.
Okay, allow me to summarize the agreement reached today to ensure that both parties have the same understanding. First, regarding the double-story house in Shah Alam, both parties agree that the division should be 40% share for Puan Salina and 60% share for Encik Farid. Second, regarding the joint ASB savings amounting to 40,000 ringgit, both parties agree that the amount should be divided equally, 20,000 ringgit for Puan Salina and 20,000 ringgit for Encik Farid. Third, regarding the Produa Arus car, both parties agree that the car should remain under Puan Salina ownership. Puan Salina, is this summary accurate?
Yes, I also agree with all the terms.
What about you, Encik Farid?
Yes, I also agree with the terms.
Okay, excellent. I would like to congratulate both of you. Although today's discussion started with different expectations, both parties remain committed to the Sulh process and successfully reached a mutually acceptable solution. This reflects the purpose of Sulh, which is to resolve dispute through communication, cooperation, and mutual understanding. I will now prepare the Sulh agreement based on the term agreed by both parties. Before finalizing the agreement, I would like to explain that once the agreement is signed voluntarily, it may be recorded before the Sharia court and becomes binding on both parties. Both parties are encouraged to carefully review the agreement before signing. If there is anything unclear, please feel free to ask. Okay, thank you for your cooperation throughout today's session.
If is everything is clear, I agree with this session.
I also understand and agree with the terms.
Thank you, Encik Salina, Puan Salina and Encik Farid. I understand that both parties have agreed to the term of the Sulh agreement. On behalf of the Sulh unit, I would like to thank both of you for your patience, honesty, and cooperation throughout today's session. Although both parties had different views and interests at the beginning, I hope this agreement provides closure and allows both parties to move forward positively. Once again, congratulations on successfully reaching a settlement. This concludes today's solo session. Thank you, and I wish both of you all the best for the future.
All right. Thank you, officer.
All right, thank you, officer.
You're most welcome.